On a long enough timeline, every game of Vampire the Masquerade turns into one of two things: foppish political drama that goes nowhere, or tormented vigilantes wreaking havoc across the city. Even if your game hasn't fallen directly into one of these traps, these elements have almost certainly made their way to your table. But it doesn't have to be this way, and it's not your fault. Vampire is a game that has too many ideas competing for the spotlight at the same time. You've got nightmarish biblical prophecies coming to life, the struggle of the beast and letting go of your mortal life, Machiavellian political intrigue, night-by-night murder, clans that don't fit together, and rising sexual tension between your players at the table and...
Shut up! Oh my god, I don't care!
Vampire wants to spotlight all of these things, but doesn't tell you how they fit together in a playable fashion that makes sense within the world of darkness. This is the result of design decisions that haven't been changed or clarified in 30 years. They didn't have the answer in the 90s, and they don't have it now. But the answer is in the text, and it's been staring us all in the face since the beginning. Vampire isn't about Cain or Helena, it's not about globe-spanning conspiracies of world domination, and it's certainly not about sitting around in a gothic parlor waxing poetic about nothing at all. Vampire is about the mob.
Oh!
Now, we aren't saying that all of your characters need to be literal Italian mafiosos, but bear with us as we explain the actual structure of Vampire the Masquerade. The key here is to set aside for a moment all of the themes and tropes that you associate with the game and focus on the core question of any role-playing game. What does my character actually do? Whether you begin play during the final night of your character's mortal life, or after they've been transformed into a monster, you're inevitably brought into a world that exists beneath human society. From that moment on, your every waking moment is dominated by the need to survive and thrive outside the normal system. By definition, you're part of the criminal underworld, and this is not a metaphor. The Camarilla is essentially La Cosa Nostra. It has its own laws that are enforced in secret. The traditions of the Kindred map almost one-to-one with the code of the mafia. 1. The Masquerade is identical to the Omerta Code of Silence. You cannot reveal yourself to anyone on the outside. 2. Territory is to be respected. 3. You cannot bring anyone into the organization without approval from the bosses or the elders. 4. Killing Kindred is like killing a made man. Without permission, it's punishable by death. You have the traditions of the Kindred, and you have your core responsibilities to the Camarilla. Your coterie is your crew, not a circle of friends. You've been put together to do a job. You've got 6 to 10 hours a night to do it, and you will earn. And this isn't a limitation of the game. It's a lens to focus your disparate characters into a coherent structure. This structure actually gives you the in-world and in-game reasons why your characters have each other's back. It alleviates the problem of everyone being out for themselves, and gives characters of different clans a tangible reason to associate with each other. And the life of a mobster is incredibly difficult to keep up. There are bodies to be hidden, dirty cops to be paid off, and people that need to be hurt. The secrecy and protection required to make the mob run takes money and manpower, and it's on you to kick it up the chain.
Sting is a pyramid, since time immemorial. Shit runs downhill, money goes up. It's that simple.
Adding to all your other responsibilities, you need a place to live and sleep during the day. Since the 9-to-5 schedule doesn't exactly work for you anymore, add another charge to the bill.
And I don't want to hear about the fucking economy either. I don't want to hear it.
If you earn, you might just climb the ladder. As the mob has their soldiers, capos, and underbosses, so too does the Camarilla have its positions and ranks. And as you climb each rung, you'll have someone below you kicking it up to you, but also gunning for your position. Those privileges you earn are going to inspire jealousy from the hungry mouths below you. This is the natural structure of the game itself. Take away all the lore and this core still remains. If you want your game of Vampire to reach its maximum potential, do not fight this structure. Lean into it. Everything else about the game will fit into this pyramid if you do what is naturally demanded of your characters. When you put this concept at the front and center of your game, all the other elements you associate with VTM will happen as a result of it, not in spite of it. Even if you wanted to resist the allure of playing a psychopathic mobster, you won't have a choice about it. You are a vampire, and the mechanics of the game, such as Hunger Dice, are going to force you into situations where you have wild outbursts of violence like some cannoli-fueled lunatic.
Time to hit the trail from a toucher, huh? What do you say?
My mistake. Carlo's lipstick was on Vito's cock.
Hell! Take this prick! No! You got Oh, you fuck!
This is the nature of the game, and along with the inevitable violence and the fact that you are going to break the traditions at some point, the paranoia you are going to feel is the same as the mafiosos, constantly worrying about a rat in their midst or a witness left alive. But it's actually even worse than that, because in the world of Vampire, you don't even have the fantasy of a witness protection program to fall back on. Every mistake you've ever made is keenly remembered by people who have arbitrary authority over you, and at any night, whether it's tomorrow or a century from now, you may have to make good on those favors that have been stacking up. You will never see the sun, you will never escape the Camarilla, and you will never have any rest. There is never enough. Your life is a perpetual panic attack. Because your life is a panic attack, because everyone else's life is a panic attack, this will force you to reevaluate what Elysium actually is. This is not a parlor, or a spa, or a nightclub where hot vampires kick back and relax with a champagne flute of O positive.
What's wrong, baby?
Elysium is strictly enforced neutral ground, where the bosses can have a sit-down so the important work of murder and extortion can continue. This is a place for the big boys to talk at the adult table. And it's not just the Elysium that will make sense and fall into place when you view the world this way. All the other bits of flavor that you know and love about Vampire can all be given the appropriate amount of spotlight within the mob framework. Remember, you aren't the only psychopath in the city. Other vampires are going to fuck up as well, and you'll have to clean up after them. Your allies will get you into trouble. Your clan will get you into trouble. And through the blood, sex, and murder, your game will generate all the drama and personal horror that you've been promised. What happens when your lover sells you out or discovers your true nature?
They wanted me to wear a wire, but I wouldn't do it.
You're dead, you know that? What did you do, huh? How could you fucking do this to us? I fucking loved you. I'm sorry. Oh my God, what are we gonna do?
Mafia stories are personal horror. No one comes out unscathed. The constant secrecy and violence takes its toll on you and everyone around you. This is unavoidable, and will come to the forefront by the nature of the game. You don't need to force this with contrived romances or commentary on the sad state of your soul. This game will make you a monster, no matter what, and you won't escape the consequences. But remember, when the beast forces these mistakes and fuck-ups, you always have your family. It wasn't the Camarilla who chose you for this life, it was your clan. If the Camarilla is La Cosa Nostra, the clans are the individual crime families. All are beholden to the same rules, but each one has its own interests, traditions, and pride to maintain. When a clan member steps out of line, you deal with it as a family.
For that reason, even if I knew who my cousin was, and I do not, I would not deliver him up to them. I am offering him the same protection that I would offer any of you in similar circumstances. So we're gonna deal with this as a family, together.
Treating the clans as competing mob families adds a whole new layer to the base Camarilla game. Each clan has their own preferences and their own style and different ways of doing things. And treating the clans as an institution within an institution gives you the space to shine the spotlight on the particular flavors that each one brings to the game. Instead of a thematic melting pot, you can have distinct courses to the meal. But just like the Mafia, when the whole operation is threatened from the outside, the clans act together under the auspices of the Camarilla. They may have differences, their squabbles, and their little wars, but when the Inquisition threatens the poker game, everyone's on the same team. But not everyone plays by the Camarilla rules, and even an organized crime syndicate like the Camarilla has its enemies, and these enemies are not the same. The Sabbat are not the Mafia, and they fit a completely different model. But that is the subject of another video.